The greatest gig Cambridge has ever seen. The description about a 60s concert featuring the legendary Duke Ellington and his big band. In 1967, he played a 2-hour set at Great St Mary's featuring work that's said to be the most important work of his life. Well, tomorrow, his sacred concert will be reprised as part of the Cambridge Summer Music Festival. David Temple is conductor and co-founder of the Crouch End Festival Chorus, who will be performing the work, and here is a little snippet of what they can do. Just amazing. I could listen to that all day. Fantastic. David Temple, the conductor and co-founder of the Crouch End Festival Chorus, joins us now. David, good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you very much for joining us.
Very nice to talk to you.
No, nice to have you on the show.
Thank you. Interesting to follow on from Derek and the Dominoes, which was not far away from the same time that Duke Ellington came to Cambridge in the 60s.
Oh, of course. Yes, absolutely. And this gig that I've alluded to in our intro there, 1967, quite a set, quite a gig by the sound of things, 2 hours. And as I said, was said to be the most important work of his life. Was that something Duke Ellington said himself?
Yes, he did. I mean, it was very much at the culmination of his working life, because he died in 1974, which was not long afterwards. We have doing a pre-performance talk, Russell Davies, who's a BBC presenter, Brain of Britain, and he's a great jazz enthusiast, and he actually went to that concert in Cambridge in 1967. So I'll be talking to him just before we perform the work about his recollections of it.
It's quite a responsibility in some ways, isn't it, to kind of reprise this, because it's such an important gig, such important music. Do you feel that sense of responsibility behind this?
Well, I've done it quite a few times in the past few years. So it's something we've been building up over the years, and we're now getting rather good at it, I think. It's such glorious music. It's a strange mixture of like a kind of gospel choir plus a jazz big band. And the way the two infuse together is just magical.
No, it clearly is. We just heard a snippet there, and it is very unique and indeed, as you say, magical. So this is happening tomorrow, I believe, at the King's College Chapel, 7:30 tomorrow evening. And you've done this many times before, as you've said, and clearly what we've heard is you are very good at this. How big is are the number of performers? How many people perform to make this come to life?
Right, we have about 100 singers in the choir. We have a soprano soloist and a jazz big band of 11 players, saxophones, trumpets, trombones, piano, bass, drum, that sort of thing. Plus me, the silent person waving my arms.
Wow. Okay. So big number of people actually to put on such an amazing show. Why would you say this is such an important commemoration of such an important gig? Why has this got historical importance?
Well, one of the big things that we're trying to improve on in recent times is the idea of diversity. And I just love the fact that we are performing a work by a Black American composer. And I think it's so important that we, as well as all the other stuff we're doing, I mean, we're doing the BBC Proms on Tuesday. We're doing the Verdi Requiem there at the Proms. But it's very important that we actually mix our repertoire to include music from different genres and different backgrounds.
And in your experience, David, do you find that this appeals to a certain demographic, or do you find that there are people of all ages and backgrounds that enjoy this?
Do you know what? I think what people really enjoy doing is tapping their feet. And I
Yeah.
can't think of any other piece where you can sit there and just tap your feet throughout. And if you get to the end of a movement and you enjoyed it, you just applaud. You don't have to wait till the end. You know what I mean? It's not like a formal classical concert.
Okay, and David, what do you actually know about the gig back in 1967? Have you had to do, or have you been curious about doing your own research on that night, the 2 hour set at Great St Mary's? What do you actually know about that night?
Well, Ellington had done the sacred concert in the United States a couple of years earlier, and done a few performances on the East and West Coast. So this was his first time abroad doing it in England, in Cambridge. And I think, from what I know, it was a bit of a bits and pieces concert. And I think so over the few years, he compiled a whole collection of sacred works. Now, what we're performing is a kind of compilation of these works into a single performance. So we will include some of the music that he did in that concert, but also some of the music he did in other sacred concerts around that time.
Okay, well, it sounds like what was a very exquisite special evening, and it will be the case tomorrow as well. How can people attend this tomorrow? Are tickets still available?
I think tickets are still available. We're pretty well sold, but I think there's probably enough tickets left for you to just walk up for 7:30 at King's College, Cambridge. And apart from the fact that you'll be hearing such wonderful music, you will be walking into one of the world's most beautiful buildings.
It is indeed a very, very special building. So people don't need to go online and pre-book. They can quite literally turn up 7:30 tomorrow at King's College Chapel and pay on the door and get in.
Absolutely.
Amazing. David, thank you so much for coming on and telling us all about that amazing gig from 1967, and for us to look forward to what's happening tomorrow at 7:30. Really appreciate your time, David.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you so much. David Temple there, conductor and co-founder of the Crouch End Festival Chorus, performing that sacred concert that was in 1967, a 2 hour set with Duke Ellington and his big band. It's going to be quite the special evening.